I'm Dylan Dowler.
I'm Cooper Bentley.
Hey, I'm Bentley Havens.
You're watching Out the Top.
And you're watching Out the Top.
You're watching Out the Top.
Look at that rock light coming out the top.
Hey guys, what is up? Welcome in to our Hawk Pride recap show live on Facebook. Finally, we are live on the Out the Top Facebook page and the Out the Top YouTube channel. Welcome everybody in. I'm Bryant Dunnigan. I am in Monticello, Kentucky at the Rock Life Studios, and let's welcome in our everybody's favorite co-host of Out the Top, Mr. Dan Carter. What is up, my friend?
What's up? I don't know about that, but I'm here.
Hey, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad after 2 months of trying, we are finally smart enough to be live on Facebook.
We got it. Well, you got it figured out. I'm trying to still figure out how to share it to my race page.
You can do it. You can do it. I can figure it. We now that we know how, we'll cross post that, baby. We'll have it live straight to the race page next go around. Guys, thank everybody for being here. Thank everybody for the subscriptions on YouTube, the follows on Facebook and TikTok and all the places. For our members, guys, we appreciate you guys so much. Also, if you haven't, please do check out our Overdrive show with Nick Rock. That we were on it this week. We got that out on Sunday afternoon. Nick had some great insights to his runs and some of the happenings on Saturday. And so that is always a good listen. Nick is very, very descriptive about things and the way he recalls his runs, and he knows exactly where. I think he could go back and tell you every rock he ran over in the course, and I don't know how he does that. So it's a very good listen. So go check that out if you can. We'd really appreciate that. Just glad to be back with everybody. I know we've not been putting out shows this second half of the season like we normally have, but we're here now. So let's get right into Hawk Pride. That's your home race.
Yeah. It's actually not as close as Pretty Place is, like driving wise.
Really?
But yeah, that's crazy. But basically we're from Central Alabama, and to get to Pretty Place, we just kind of take back roads back up through like Anniston, Gadsden, something like that, Rainbow City, some of those places, and then kind of come in the backside of Pretty Place, and it's like 3.5 hours. So to get to Hawk Pride, it's like 3.5 hours up 65, and then we take a left and drive for like another hour. So it's like 4.5 hours. So that's pretty crazy. But man, it's always love Hawk Pride. Like, it's a pretty cool park. Anytime I see people like wanting to come to Alabama two-wheel, I feel like that's a good place for them to check off their list.
Well, it was my intention to actually, I've never. It's much like any park I go to. I don't get out of the damn parking lot. Parking lot in Race Hills. That's my extent. But my original plan was to get out and meander around a little bit Friday night. Glad I didn't get too far, because I guess there was some extracurriculars going on in places that I didn't need to be a part of. But originally, I was going to try and get some trail riding in. Me and the old Too Shitty. I was going to take my Honda, just wherever it would take me. But didn't get to really go. Thought about staying Saturday night and doing some riding, but all of my crew left, and you left and went home, and then the rest of my crew left and come back to Kentucky. So I was like, well, I'm going with them. One of these days, though, I want to make it to RBD.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of there like the wrong time of year. Like it's It's always hot. Everybody's ill, tired, ready to get home, dusty. That park is ideal spring and fall of the year.
Yeah, I want to get to RBD. I've talked about it for several years now, and just can't never make it happen. It's just that Thanksgiving weekend's rough.
Yeah. That's like the worst part is it being like gates open Thanksgiving Day, and if
Yeah.
you want a good spot, you got to
You better
get there.
be there.
Yeah.
You better be there. Yeah, one of these days we'll make it. Let's get into Friday's events. You want to talk about? I'm going to ask you this, and then I want you to tell us about your runs. So this weekend, only one class, Cup class, no stock. How? First of all, if you could only run one, which one? If you had to pick, like I'm not making you pick, but if you had to pick, which one would you rather run, and how much easier is it only running one versus
Man,
having to remember all them courses?
that's a good question. That's really the only reason I've kind of diverted back to running just one course, one class. But it seems like every time I do just like get my mind made up that hey, I'm just going to run one class, that's when Clyde makes the stock super easy, one hill up and down for both runs. Like you don't have to think about it at all. But when I'm like, okay, I'm going to run both courses, then stock class is 5 miles through the woods, 1,500 right turns, 1,500 left turns, and it's all different for round 1 and 2. Same with Cup, same scenario. And you're like, man, I need lead nav to figure this stuff out, or a GPS. But man, that's a really good question. So I started leaning more towards Cup because that running Cup is I feel like it makes me a better driver because the competition is so stiff in the Cup class. And then you get to thrown into the stock class, and it's like, man, you get to looking at all the numbers. The competition is really tough in that class as well, but we've got an outdated machine, man. We've been running that poor old full body for 5-10 years, it seems like. And we could do some stuff to make that car faster. But, I don't know. I'd rather exert that energy and put it in the Cup class because I feel at the end of the day, if you get top 10 in Cup, you're moving. If you get top 10 in stock, you're still moving, but the stock class isn't as celebrated as much as the Cup is, if that makes sense.
I look at it for us, not in general, but for us, I look at the stock when you do get to run it. Although I look at it more of as a getting eyes on the course because they typically go first, so you can see
right,
a little bit. But then if the courses are different, you're also kind of, I think the energy you spend on the class, you're kind of negating the advantage,
right?
That it does hold. I don't know. It's cool. Some of these guys, man, like Dylan, that run both classes and is competitive in both classes.
Yeah,
good on them because that's a whole lot.
Yeah, and there's like they're more nimble than I am. Like, I mean, they can jump in their razor and suit up and be on the line in 15 seconds. And I'm like, hold on, let me finish my candy bar. Let me find my Hans. Let me get my shoes on. And like, I'm always like half naked trying to put my suit on. Like it's like a sleeping bag. It's like takes me 25 minutes to get geared up. And I'm just like, you know what? The hell with it. Y'all go ahead and run without me.
Listen, me and you ain't getting no younger neither.
No, man, these young bucks are hard to keep up with.
I was talking to, speaking to that, I was talking to somebody the other day about, and we've talked about that on here before, is the turnover in this class or in rock racing in general. The turnover is so crazy. There's some of these new guys coming in these classes, and I have no idea who they are.
Right.
And I'm glad for it.
Yeah.
It sucks because usually when somebody comes in, that means somebody has probably exited along the way. But we need people to keep new guys to keep coming and trying it out. And anytime anybody says I'd like to race, I will dog them, aggravate them, can try everything I can to convince them to come race because we need fresh blood in that all the time.
Right. And it's
So
like it's a growing sport, and everybody keeps saying, "Oh, well, it's it's not a lot to it." But I mean, there's always pretty good car count, and like even for the heat this past weekend, there were still a lot of people there, and I appreciate everybody coming out and braving the scorching hot with us. But yeah, if anybody who ever wants to come race, man, come holler at me. I don't mind helping out, whatever I can do to get you seated in and in your rig and running.
I'm always glad to have new blood. Okay, let's get into. Tell us about the courses, about your runs, and we'll talk about that for a few minutes.
So when we ran Pretty Place, we noticed. Well, actually, you noticed before I did. Like we had a lot of bad luck at Pretty Place, and then noticed that the car that we may have had a bent trailing arm, and I was like, well, LW built some tough stuff, so that'll definitely make it through the next race until we can get that part swapped out. And when we were loading it up, that thing was crab walking pretty bad getting on the trailer, and I got to thinking, I was like, well, it's too late to just drop what I'm doing and swap these things out. So let's just put the car to the test and not push the car 100%, but just push it hard enough for a good middle of the road finish. And we did that, and I walked the course a couple of times and saw where I could go really, really fast. And then I saw the rough spots to know that this is where I need to take it easy so we don't have any failures. And, we put some new wheels and tires on that thing and got some tire balls in it. And, we were ready to ram some shit. But, finished the first hill. I think we had an 86, which was kind of like middle of the pack. And then we picked up a little bit of time on round 2 and shaved about 5 or so seconds off that time. And, still were able to finish both rounds and get a decent seat.
It not a horribly. I shouldn't say that. I wasn't in the car. Not a horrible course for Cup. Coming down Maverick, I feel like just being outside the car. Coming down Maverick, probably the roughest. That looked so. I got there late, because I am a slacker. I'm an ill-prepared slacker. I got there late, and as soon as I pulled up, you were running your first run. You had just took off the line, and I had to wait on you to go through so I could come over the hill. So I stood at the top, and I couldn't see it, but I could hear you going over Maverick.
Yeah.
And it sounded violent. Like how rough is that going down?
So, okay, last year I did some damage to the car jumping off Maverick, and that was going to be my game plan this year until I noticed that the trailing arm was worse. So I knew then that it would probably be smart to take my time going down Maverick, and it seemed pretty smooth. Down at the very, very bottom was the last portion of the part of Maverick. There was a rock that was about 5 foot away from the first lip, and everybody was coming down smacking that rock. And like I made myself a mental note to watch out for that rock, and it's still just car got pushed over to that side, and it's like wham, man, it just like take the breath out of you. But it was pretty violent. But my main concern coming down Maverick was to get out of the rock bed and try to shoot left to where the rocks were a lot smoother in that area, and try to make up some time before I got back into that creek bed at the bottom. And, it definitely wasn't as violent as it was last year because all that seemed to have packed down a good bit, but it's still a good rough course.
It looked rough. I would have much rather, man, I say this. The second run, you guys came down, no respect. And while that's a fairly smooth transition, it's a more sheer drop.
Right.
And so standing at the top or even in a buggy, especially strapped in where you can't look and see exactly where you're going, it's a more sheer drop. And so for me, like nervy wise, I guess you could say coming off No Respect would probably be worse.
Yeah.
But smoother.
Right. Well, that's if you remember last year, maybe the year before, we come off of that in stock class, and that's where I foobarred really bad in the full body, and that was like hitting me in the back of the head coming off of No Respect. Was my thought was to get as far left as I could to get away from that kick out of that rock, because I know if that kick out hits the back tire, it's over with. It don't matter how smooth a transition you have coming off of it. Is if that back tire hits that ledge, it usually endos pretty bad.
Well, I'm glad we had two pretty uneventful runs. No further damage to the car. We will have to address our trailer arm situation before finals, but I guess finals is the next race for you.
Right.
We won't be. Neither one of us are going to be making the trip to Missouri for the next event, but so we finally got we busted in the last year. I bet we've been through 16 wheels, 12 or 16. We finally got a brand new set of KMC forged wheels on there, and they seem to be helping out with that significantly so far. So now we're ready to push the car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So finals, listen, I'm calling you out right now. Finals, we're close to my place. So if we break or bend, you can drop it off. I'll fix it over the winter. Finals, all she's got, buddy.
Oh yeah.
Give her
I'm definitely Van Camps is coming in hot.
Oh yeah, give her the beans. All right. I want to talk a little bit about our stock class points leader. So Cody Kaysen, dude's fast. I mean,
for sure,
lights out. He's fast everywhere he goes. Usually, not many DNFs. In the podium hunt, top 2, top 3, every race. Rare parts failure on hill 1. Breaks the transmission. Unable to get it repaired for run 2, gets no points run 2. But the concern with that is not even the concern. Is he was 2 minutes late to the line, 2 to 3 minutes late. There was some. So basically, I'm going to explain the rule. You've got 5 minutes from when it's your turn to run. If you're broke, so okay, let me back up. If you're broke and it's your turn to run, you can forego your spot, and they will allow you to run last or wherever you fit in once you're repaired. Cody wasn't able to get it repaired to run his spot, so he was shooting for that last spot. Once they're ready, the way this works is once they're ready for you to come to the line. So if you're running before me, you finish your run, the dust settles. Okay, I'm ready for you to be at the line now. Now your time starts. It's not like an immediate finish line start the timer.
Right.
So when it's your turn to go, they start the timer. You got 5 minutes. If you can't get there in 5 minutes, your run's over or your attempt is null and void. I was on the phone with them at the top of the hill, standing next to Claude. I was like, update me, guys. When are you going to be here? Are you coming? Oh, we got 1 more bolt to put in, 2 more bolts to put in, whatever it was. And I asked Claude, I said, what's the time situation? And he's like, well, actually, they're already over. We're already at 6 minutes.
Right.
If he's on his way, he didn't say this. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but I could tell, if he was on his way down, like driving the buggy, if he's on his way down, we'll wait. If they're still working on it, no. So
Right.
he cuts him off at the 6-minute mark. We move into the Cup class. One person runs, then Cody comes down the hill.
Ah, man,
Yeah,
that's tough.
that's a killer. I know it hurts some feelings, but rules are rules. I heard some different arguments about how we had done that, but we had let other people do this and we had let people do that. And I kept asking for examples. Like, when did we do this? When
Yeah.
when did you let somebody run out of, that far out of order? When
Right.
did that happen? Well, I don't know, but it did.
Yeah, I've never known that we have let somebody race out of class. Like we've let them race out of order, but once you start the next class, that pretty much seals the fate.
Yeah.
And man, we've been with them a long time. Like we've been with National Rock Racing Series a long time, longer than a lot of these other guys. And
Yeah,
I have not
can't blame
seen. Only thing I would say that was probably like remotely close to that is I remember them pushing back. There was like a driver on the way. He wasn't at the driver's meeting, but he may have had like a blowout or something. And they pushed the start time back a little bit to make sure he would be able to run. But this was ages ago.
Yeah, I can't recall a time, and I could be wrong. I'm just saying I can't recall a time.
Right. And things are different too since we've gotten picked up with like the TV deal that's going on. Like we have a hard start time, and like if it's one of those things. Like if we're not on time, then it screws everything up.
And I'm sure. I mean, I know we have a hard start time, and I'm sure they would prefer it if we had a hard end time as well.
Right.
So, and that's what it's going to work towards. So we're going to have to be more and more efficient with things and not waiting on people on the line, because if we remain on a live TV deal, like they're going to want more precise numbers on what time we're going to be done. And I know with any motorsports you can't predict an exact end, but they're going to want to know pretty close to when they think it's going to be over. So I don't know. I hate it for Cody. I hate that people got upset about it, but in all honesty, the rule is the rule. The right call was made. I hate that he worked as hard as he did and missed it by a few minutes.
Right.
But I mean, that is what it is. And I even told them this weekend. They better not be glad I wasn't racing them for the championship, because I love them guys, but I'd have been down there screaming, check the timer. If he's out of time, he's out of time, because I'm trying to win a race, trying to get me some money, trying to get me a championship. And listen, we all travel a long ways to race. We spend a lot of money to race. And when you have an opportunity to knock the top guy off on a technicality, listen, shady, not shady, I don't care.
Right.
Bye, Felicia.
I think it just needs to chalk it up as a win that transmission was like 4 years old.
Yes. And I mean, they got somebody to drive from Mississippi to bring them another transmission, which is pretty cool. And getting it fixed in the amount of time that they had to get it fixed in itself is pretty cool.
Right.
He is still in the points lead. So, I mean, now he's just got to go out and keep doing what he's done all year.
Right.
He'll be
Missouri's going to be a good place for him to, get his points back.
Yeah, he'll be all right. He gets to stretch his legs, but yeah,
especially since we're not making it.
Yeah, you're going to let him have this one.
Yeah, we'll let him have this one.
We're going to let him have this one. So stock points are close though. Cody and Robert now are just a few points apart. And Bounty also, not Bounty. the bouncer class.
Yeah.
The
Man.
stock in the bouncer class is right there. So we've got 6 hills left, which is 300 available points. Every run matters, as it always does.
Right.
But every run really matters right now. So it's going to be the next 2 races, boys. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it will be.
Actually, UTV Unlimited too. I forgot about that. So Cooper goes out, and I guess I'd missed his run on the first run. Cooper sets fast time UTV Unlimited. Cooper Bentley.
Yeah.
Which Cooper, speaking of Cooper, is currently. What time is it? He is probably in Nashville, Tennessee right now, helping Paul Wolf change an engine in their 4400 car. They're supposed to be in Crandon tomorrow for qualifying, practice and qualifying. But Cooper is actually getting to race.
That's cool.
At Crandon this weekend. Going to be running, from what I understand, going to be running one of Paul Wolf's Can-Am's for Justin Wheels race team.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he's actually going to get to do some driving this weekend. So I don't know how their feeds work, if there's somewhere to go watch that live, but if there is, we'll post that because we need to show Coop some support.
Man, that's one of my. I think that's going to be one of my bucket list places to go to. I was talking to another racer that used to race with us. He's doing Ultra 4 stuff now, but he's like, man, Crandon's coming up. He's like, y'all going to be able to make it? And I was like, man, I had no clue it was coming up. But man, that's definitely going to be one of my bucket list items.
Listen, if we can't make it to Crandon, we're going to have to get the old iRacing back out.
That's right.
And they have Crandon on there, so we're going to have to go at least fake it. But yeah, I'd love to make a trip up there just to hang out and be a spectator.
Check it out.
But Cooper had a good run first run. I think he was fastest on the board. And then I don't know what he was doing on the second run, and was running into stuff, and I don't know if he got scared on No Respect or what, but just crawling over it. But his second run cost him the points lead in the UTV Unlimited series. He is now down, I think, 7 points.
Oh,
so
man.
We actually have a really close battle in the UTV Unlimited. Our stock points are tight. Our bouncer points are tight. So the next few races are going to be just completely insane. So check those. Check out the live feeds coming up for Rush Springs Ranch in a few weeks, guys. That Friday class with them running the short course is going to be cool. Let's move on to Saturday. UTV Bounty. Maverick had its fair share of victims, as it usually does. Seen Nate Bell lose a transmission. There was, I think, 2 more guys that lost 4-wheel drive on the hill. Riley Pete and Brady McCreath, and a couple more guys did make the climb. And then run 2, No Respect. And so, guys, if you listen to our show with Nick, me and Nick kind of talked about this pretty well, but they ramped up No Respect Hill. So last year, no UTVs made it up No Respect Hill. And no UTVs even had a shot at making it up No Respect. This year, they ramped it up another, I don't know, 6 to 10, 8 feet, something like that. Highway, super highway. So everybody made it up No Respect. Except Austin Tidwell. No Respect is we were talking about this today, me and Nathaniel Bell. The harder you hit it, the more chance of turning over at the top you have. it kind of throws you. And so Austin hit it pretty hard and laid it over. Riley Pete hit it really hard and rolled off of No Respect. Broke a rear shock and just kept going and went right up it and finished the run with a pogo rear shock. Pretty impressive run there. So Riley ends up winning UTV Bounty. Brady got second there, but not nearly as much carnage as there was last year in UTV Bounty. So fairly uneventful. Our bouncer class is where it gets a little crazy. So Jay Storts broke out his new buggy. What's it called? Fortitude.
Yeah.
Fortitude, new Pike built buggy. What do you think about that?
It's a good looking buggy, but I can't keep a straight face because like nothing against the buggy, like it's badass buggy, but Charles, I hate you. Charles Chris, High Octane, he posted like the unveiling of the car.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna catch hate for this. So they back the car out of the trailer and like they're recording, like he's revving it up, whatever. Some dude on the comment thread says, "Is that Cash's old buggy?" And Charles like, "No, man, this is brand new Pike built buggy." And then he like posted the video like of like a walk around, like the first video. And then the guy's like, "Yeah, that's what I thought." And man, we laughed about that like all weekend. Like every time me and Charles would get together, I'd ask him a question. He'd be like, "Yeah, man." I'd be like, "Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought." But man, that's a badass buggy. Like Jake built some badass stuff. But I can't wait to see Jay, finish up the season in that buggy.
Yeah, it was. It seems like he's got plenty of horsepower.
Right.
They did have a little shock issue, or I don't know what the technical. I guess they're struts. Had a strut issue, but just a freak thing. Just knocked a Schrader valve out.
Right.
And then once one side goes down, the other side goes down. He didn't even try the second run, as he shouldn't have.
Right.
But, buggy looks good, works awesome. Hopefully they'll get that issue figured out and have a good run in Missouri.
Yeah, that's gonna be closer to his hometown. I feel like he'll do pretty well in Missouri.
Yeah. Nick Rock wins over Wade Good on combined times. Over both runs, they tied in points. And for the people who may not know our series, you get points per run. First place is 50 points per run. So if you're the fastest on hill 1, you get 50 points. Seconds, 47. Same for hill 2. And then your combined times determines the winner for the event. In the event of a point tie, it goes to combined times for the day first. And on combined times, Nick beat Wade by 1.5 tenths of a second. The side-by-side video and the crazy part, the side-by-side video is crazy, but the more impressive part to me is I was standing next to Wade when Nick was running, and Nick had a little bobble in the little wood section. And Nick had a little bobble in the wood section, and Wade knew it instantly, like that. He's
right.
Like, as it happened, he goes, he messed up. And I was like, how do you even know that? And when I was talking to Nick after the fact, I was like, well, how did your run go? And he was like, I messed up over there in the woods. And I was like, what? Like, it's a dust cloud. We couldn't see him run. You
Right.
could only see the dust cloud and hear him. And if you go back and watch the side-by-side video, sure enough, the very back corner where the little ramp up is into the 90-degree turn, Nick kind of overshot that. And he didn't have to back up or anything, but it just wasn't smooth. And that's where they were talking about. And I cannot believe these guys are so in tune with the courses and the machines that they even can pick that out like in real time.
Right.
Like that in itself is amazing to me. But the one thing I wanted to talk about there is through the grapevine, with the times being so close, through the grapevine, I heard that there was some complaining once again. It never fails, guys. It never fails when times get close and the competition ramps up and people get more and more competitive. It never fails. Somebody wants to start fussing about the timers and the times. I am here to tell everyone that Clyde Bynum, the man behind the series, gives no shit about who wins the race. You're not being cheated. And this is not directed at any one individual whatsoever. This is just let's just cover it all. Because the people who were bitching about the timers weren't even the ones it mattered to. But Clyde doesn't care who wins. He does not care. When Timmy was winning, all I ever heard was, well, Clyde hides over in the corner with his timer and makes it up. If he makes it up, he's damn quick with it.
Mm.
Because if you're listening on the radio, the run ends and he's 101.2, whatever it is. Like it's quick. And even when there's a delay, like in the times, like just a split, it's only a second or two. Like there's never a hesitation long enough where he can be sitting down and trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
What's the perfect cheat time here, guys? Like it's not
Well,
that way.
And you don't see him with a pen and paper. So for him to memorize everybody's run is like a feat in itself. And like you said, he calls the times out pretty quickly, but it's like 101.986. Like he's yelling out like six or eight numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I get you. And then I get the people too that like they want to see the times, but Clyde's addressed that several times. Like it's just not you have hiccups with the scoring system if it's done with a timer.
It's doable. It's all doable. The problem is manpower to do all this stuff. We're already kind of down on manpower. And that's a whole nother conversation we can get into about, recovery people, safety course workers and things like that. We're already down on manpower, and the more you add on the back end, the harder it is. We have petitions for some sort of scoreboard, some sort of live scoring for fans to see. I'm an advocate that nobody should leave the park without knowing who won and when they won.
Right.
Not 20, 30 minutes later. It shouldn't be a secret. I've said that 1,000 times. So I get it, but for the people who think that they're getting cheated, you got to give it a rest. It's not happening. But I just think it's cool that after 2 runs, over the obstacles that we went over in 2 completely different machines, like there is not a similarity between Fordzilla and Nemesis. I guess that's what it's called. There's not a similarity in those buggies.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 courses, two different drivers, two completely different machines, and it's just cool that the competition has ramped up so much that they're that close. The question, and I was talking to somebody about this. We're talking about Timmy coming back maybe next year, and I even said this to Nick. I was like, hey, if you win the championship, that's cool, and you should celebrate winning the championship. And we said this about Brandon when he won. But how cool would it mean more if Timmy was in the field? And so with him coming back next year, they're all going to elevate back up again. You think they're running fast now?
Right.
It'll be even that much better again next year.
Right.
So I don't know. It'll be cool. Nick made a comment, or not Nick, sorry. Pat made a comment on here. He asked about Timmy coming back and what's up with that. Any more info? I don't have anything concrete. I have rumors, Pat. I would watch the live feed at finals. That's about all I can tell you there. I would not be surprised if he makes an appearance at finals, much like he did with 100 Shot a couple years ago at Mid-America. Like I said, I have not personally talked to Timmy, so I'm not going to speak for him. But that seems to be the gossip. And you know me, I don't care to gossip a little bit. The other thing in the bouncers, Daniel Heckley, run 1, going up Maverick. Something happened. I do not know what, because I was already running away. He comes through right by us, and we're standing really close to the course where I was at. And some of the videos you can tell where we were. Some of the bouncers took a very unique line where they come out of the creek bed and literally hung a 90-degree corner straight towards us to try and get a more straight on line to Maverick. And that was the line Daniel took. He came out of the creek bed, turned directly at us, wide open, come at us, and then turned to go up the creek bed. And when they make that turn, they were kind of pelting us with rocks. So I was already running from rocks. And by the time I got to where I felt safe, I turned around and Daniel is up on the hill. And the buggy just doesn't sound right. Like it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't sound good. I have no idea about anything. I'm like, well, it's transmission's broke is what I thought.
Right.
And so I'm just standing there, not even filming because nothing's happening. And the next thing I know, people are hollering at the top of the hill that he's out. He's out. He's out. And then you see some brave soul run over to his buggy in between the two 43-inch tires, right? And I guess they're reaching in and trying to put it in park. Miss Park, buggy rolls backwards down the hill at some point. And I don't know if it's under power or if it's still in neutral, but at some point the accelerator picks up because you can hear it. And like I said, once it started coming down the hill, I started running once again the other way. So I don't know if it was actually under power or if it was just the noise. It sounded like it was under power. But anyways, I guess Daniel had rung his bell pretty good. So, we've had this conversation, had it with Nick. Me and him discussed what do you do in that situation? You could have, the most highly trained safety worker up on the hill. What do you do? There's no protocol for, well, a guy is unconscious halfway up a hill. The buggy's stealing forward, trying to crawl up the hill. What do we do? What do you do? So that guy done what he thought he should do, and I don't think he was wrong. I think the only other option in that situation is to kill the buggy with the cutoff buggy, the cutoff switch.
Right, right.
But those are literally your only two options. So I know there's some people griping about the way all that transpired. My only thing is either bring a real solution to the table. And listen, it doesn't matter what you do. It does not matter. You can come up with everything you think you can think of. And as extreme as this sport is, something new is going to find its way.
That's right.
You know, I've always said my biggest fear in this racing is not the rolling over. It's not the rocks. It's the rolling into the trees and into the woods.
Right.
That scares me worse than anything.
Oh yeah.
Who cares about, you know?
You don't know when you're gonna have a stick come through the cab with you.
That's even racing, just running, because a lot of the buggies don't have any sort of real front firewall whatsoever.
Right.
Because you're going uphill, and that's your line of sight most of the way. So most of the fronts are pretty well open.
Right.
So like sticks could come in there even just running at speed on flat ground.
Sure.
So that's always been my fear. So I don't know. Me and Nick talked about it quite a bit, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on it today, but we unless you have a real solution. Well, I mean, there's nothing to fuss about. I think in the end, the best thing that could happen happened. He come off the hill, nobody got hurt.
Right.
The end. I mean, I don't know what else to do. Don't know if you got to see that live, what it looked like live. It was pretty hairy where we were.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, my question is, if they killed it, it could still roll backwards, correct? Yes. If they kill it up on the hill, it could still roll backwards, but what's the alternative? That's the thing. What is the alternative? The alternative is it's in forward gear, it hooks, and it goes into the parking lot.
Right. Well, that was kind of my thought. It's like, a car in motion with a stalled engine is going to be a whole lot of less perpetual motion than a car rolling with throttle.
Yes.
If that makes sense. So I'm just glad nobody was hurt. I mean, it was, is it a learning experience? Yeah, we could all learn some stuff from it, but what do we learn from it? Let's don't fight about it. Let's come up with a solution and bounce ideas off each other and come up with something. Or just say, hey, we've got these RR2 boxes, whatever they are. Anytime that we feel that somebody's in danger, let's just kill the engine.
Yeah. And I mean, I do get it. I get it. It's a tricky place to be. I mean, if you kill somebody's machine and it wasn't warranted, you're going to feel like shit. You could ruin somebody's run. You could do this and do that. And I don't know what's right. That's what I say. I don't know what's right. I know that I feel like the best thing that could happen happened.
Yeah.
You come off the hill, nobody got hurt.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I see that too. I mean, who'd want to be the trigger man attached to killing the engine? If it, I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
It's easier to. I think it would be easier to kill it if they were actively coming down towards people.
Right.
Going up, you would have a little more hesitation. But like you said, yeah, I mean, yeah, if he kills it on the hill, yes, it's going to roll backwards, but it's going to be not under power. You may be putting the machine and the person in the machine in a little more risk.
Right.
but you're probably putting the spectators at less of a risk.
Right.
And I'm of the firm belief when you strap in, you know what you're getting into. So, and that's something else. You know, we talked about this after the Gold Rush deal. Guys, these buggies don't have to be pretty. They don't have to be low caged and all this crap. Make
High
sure
doors and low cages.
make sure
Bunch
your
of
machine
trucks.
fits you. Make sure you fit in your machine. That's the biggest thing. Get in the daggone thing, strap your belts in, and try your hardest with your belts tight. Try your hardest to get out every direction. Try and wiggle your way this way and that way and up and see if your head hits anything. You know, the rule is supposed to be you have a fist all the way around your head plus 2 inches. That's your general rule. So I don't know. At some point, we have to take responsibility for, and I'm not. This is not a knock on them at all. I'm just saying. At some point, everybody has to take responsibility for their own machines, their own safety. Because this is violent. It's violent. It's a violent sport. It is an extreme sport by every aspect of it. I mean, it's just crazy. But glad he's okay.
Oh yeah.
Got his bell rung. Hopefully he'll be on the mend. Old John Campbell. Hey, first time he'd ever even sat in the buggy. Run for Daniel in run 2 to keep Daniel in the points. Had a good run, solid run. I feel like Trump he had a good run. It was a very good run. It's the greatest run ever. It was huge, a huge run. Billions of rocks were thrown. But John did a really good job, and had a
Shout out to the
respect.
people making the rocks.
Yes.
The hardworking Americans.
Yes, Hawk Pride has the greatest rocks, the best rocks. You can't compete with their rocks. Had a really good time. Good showing. Glad it was uneventful for him. So anywho, that's enough of our controversy for the week. Timers and safety.
And Trump, he probably made people mad.
Oh, I'm listen. I'm sure somebody's fucking pissed off.
Yeah, we just lost a few viewers.
That'll be all right. All right. Let's get into our awards for the week.
What I thought.
Our On the Hook award for the week. Sorry. It's got to go to Daniel. He did get hooked to the excavator. It was a pretty hard hit. It was really between him and I think Austin Tidwell, turned over in UTV Bounty, and then there was maybe 1 or 2 in UTV Cup that had to be carted away, but nothing too crazy. Daniel's our On the Hook winner for the week. Sorry, you get to win that award, buddy. Out the top award. I'm going to give this. I'm giving this award this week with an asterisk, or however you say that word. It goes to Clay Cason. This award is designed for somebody who maybe you don't expect to be up front. You don't expect to run really in the podium hunt every weekend. And when I say the name Clay Cason, that's somebody who runs up front. You expect them to be fast. But this is Clay Cason in a bouncer.
Cash his old buggy.
He cashed his old buggy.
What I thought.
That's what he thought. That Clay in the bouncer class in only his 3rd race on the podium. So Clay is our Out the Top award winner for the week. Our youth driver of the week. If I'm not mistaken, this feller is our first repeat winner of the season since we started doing this. And my goal was to not have repeat winners in this series. We were just going to give it to a different kid every week. However, Ramsey Trainer gets a podium finish with a broke arm.
I saw that.
One arm bandit.
Dude is bad.
One arm bandit, and he still gets the podium. So Ramsey is our youth driver of the week. And I do want to give a shout out to one of our past winners for getting their first victory of the year in the youth class. Easton Hilton gets the dub in the youth class. Congratulations on that. Let's get into our rundown, and then we'll get out of your guys' hair for the night. You want to start us out with stock class?
Oh, yeah. Stock class, we had Brandon Davis, Coy Chappelle, and Robert Trainer. The points for that series, first place we still got Cody with 703, Robert close behind with 700, and Coy trailing with 642 points.
UTV Unlimited, Dylan Dowler gets the win this weekend, Clay Kaysen in second, and Dustin Medley in third place. Clay is your winner or your points leader for the season, 714 points. Cooper falls to second with 709. Dylan Dowler in third with 683.
Bounty class, we got first place, Riley Pete coming in second, Brady McCreath, and third, Casey Howell. Casey Howell still leading the points, 599 points. Nathaniel Bell coming in second with 563 points, and Alson Tidwell with 432 points.
Our bouncer class, like we said, Nick Rock in Fordzilla was the winner for the weekend. Wade Good in second, and Clay Kaysen rounds out the podium. Wade leads Nick by only 1 point with 718. Nick sets at 717, and Cooper is now in third after a DNF this weekend. Cooper drops to 607 points. We do have a pretty good battle now with Daniel and Clint for that. They're right in the hunt with Cooper for the third place, so that's going to get interesting as the rest of the season unfolds. Next race is Rush Springs Ranch in Missouri. We're not going to make it out there, and if you guys can't make it there, I do want to mention Ride for a Cure is at Indian Mountain the same weekend. So if you can't make it to Missouri for that event and you want somewhere to go down south, hit up Indian Mountain. Check out Ride for a Cure. There's all kinds of events going on down there Friday and Saturday. Usually a pretty good time down at Indian Mountain. So check out one of those two events. Guys, that's it for the week. You got anything else before we go?
That's it. See you guys in finals or Indian Mountain or Missouri. Who knows? We'll see you.
That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.